futures be much pleasure, then from thee much more must flow. One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall
Testing, mic check. Cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns. Hello, friendos. My name is Nez, and we are once again back at it again with some more Arknights, because today we are finishing our story reading of When Elegies Are Ashes. Finally. We're gonna put the entire Victorian arc and saga to rest. This last epilogue, after what, 2-3 years of the Victorian saga, we're finally gonna wrap things up and then move forward with whatever cosmic, demonic, ethereal bullshit that we have set up. However, we still gotta address the elephant in the room. What are we gonna do about the Terrans? The Terrans have liberated themselves from Victoria. However, it's just downhill from here because Eblana's fire is not helping out. Eblana's fire is strangling the newly refounded nation from within. How we're gonna fix it? Grandpappy said that the only way to subdue the deathly flame is to kill Eblana. However, Eblana's a playable character. Therefore, she has plot armor. They're never gonna fucking kill playable characters in this game. It's a gacha game first and foremost. So how are they gonna have a loophole where they set up that the only way to solve the problem is to kill Eblana? But also, they also want to have Eblana as a marketable gacha waifu to sell to people. We know how they're gonna solve the loophole. They're gonna pull a shoe on us. They're gonna pull a shoe. Somehow, Reed is gonna kill Eblana. We're gonna do the return to fire funeral ceremony. Return her fire from the land and the townspeople back to her cold, dead body. And then somehow, I don't know, using her own fire or maybe Reed's fire, we're gonna bring her back to life. That's how we solve the problem. I mean, that's the only way we solve the problem. So we could have both our cakes and eat it too. And then there's a whole thing between Eblana becoming unemployed and associating with Rhodes Island, probably switching places with Reed so that she could take reign of Nezeru and lead the actual Terrans to thrive and nourish. I don't think Eblana is that woman. She did her role as a military leader that freed and fought for the independence and autonomy of the Terran people. War's over. She's not a fucking leader that can grow a country and a nation. She needs to peace out. Hopefully, through death and then through unlife. That's a loophole that we've theorized would happen today. Let's go! EA-ST-2. Death of a Romance. This is just a story, not a map of our future. There's no need to cry, Lashini. Let's turn the volume up. There we go. Where did you leave off? Ah yes, on the eve of Samhain, while the sun still hung in the sky. Samhain nights bind life and death. This is no mere superstition, or perhaps you could say it has long transcended superstition. Terran legends speak of countless great deeds and tragedies occurring on this very night, and such tales often put the date front and center. So long as innumerable legends coincide on that day, and so long as the Terrans still remember, if only vaguely, to celebrate the harvest and light up fires on that day, it will never be a simple change of season. It itself is a perfect footnote to add to any myth. Oh, and another thing, I don't suppose you'd mind if I gave the characters more fitting names, yes? Are we back to the writer? The sun is leaning westward. Have we yet to figure out how to go about this final confrontation? The dance of death. Will Reed kill her own sister? Probably. But also, how will we bring her back to life? Lashini, why are you hiding in your room at dinner time again? Is Dad angry? No, but he will be soon. I'll be down soon. What's that on your desk? Nothing. Red Dragon tries to block her sister's line of sight with her body, but her effort is in vain. A small paper box sits on her desk, carefully lined with cotton. Inside lies a tiny fowl beast, already dead but still harboring a faint lingering warmth. It seems to have broken its leg while alive. An unsuccessful splint fashioned from stiff paper now lies in pieces around it, accompanied by a few grains of wheat. This is a fowl beast that sang at my window every morning. I don't know what happened to it, but I wanted to save it and... I beg of you, sister, tell Dad I'm only feeling ill. I'll be on time for dinner tomorrow. I'll bury it in the courtyard tonight. So you're giving up? It's already dead. Are we gonna learn that Reed also has necromantic flames or some shit? She has flames of life. We know that she's an OP 6-star healer. However, is that so? Purple flames slip past the foul beast's feathers into its already cold body. The two watch as it slowly stands up, its broken legs stiffly propping itself on the cotton. That's a horror beyond a little child's comprehension. Alright, would you like it to fly or sing a song for you? No, this isn't right. Not like this. Then why did you use your own flames on it while it was still alive? Your foul beast could have lived a much longer life. You do realize you aren't limited to how the mediocre masses do things, don't you? But Mum told me to swallow my flames, hide them away, and never let them be seen. And who would see them in your own room? The young dragon looks away to avoid her sister's eyes, but finds her gaze landing on the foul beast standing on its cotton bed instead. Purple fires burn in its eyes, and even the way it tilts its head is the spitting image of her sister. Or do we perhaps still harbor unrealistic fantasies for how this would end? Sister, you're covered in blood. Were you injured? Most of it isn't mine. The Duke's spy bled profusely. I'll replace your bandages. Where is the Earl of Warwick? He has work to do. Yes, so he says, and as always, you take him at his word. He even allowed the spy to discuss poetry with you while he works. I thought I'd be keeping mum about our origins as well as anything related to the Earl's vision. Everyone in the manor knows you never say a word more than necessary.
been something the Earl would bother to check. That's right. Had we let the spy escape, the Earl would still inevitably find a way to silence him in the dark, and we'd simply find ourselves bound by yet another chain called caution. I'm sorry, There's no need for you to apologize. Apologies have never changed a thing.
Once packed with guests, the long, empty parlor's acoustics now amplify the sound of the bandages being ripped apart, making the atmosphere even heavier.
Those poems by that Seamus Williams you've been so into, if you can remember them, why not recite a line or two for me?
The noble red dragon racks her brains for a verse that would not rouse her sister's rage. Perhaps something related to Tara, brave warriors, or even ancient legends. But all she could recall are verses that stand aloof from worldly affairs.
The land is but a strange romance, cause of its end lost to chance ill. I'm but a wandering bard well versed in lore from songs in the woods.
She sneaks a peek at her sister's face and sees no change, so she plucks up her courage and continues to recite more lines. Only when she finishes both the entire poem and the new bandage with a delicate knot does she realize that her sister has already fallen asleep, circled by meter and rhyme. Or perhaps... unless? Back at the Citadel. Are we gonna dance? Is it finally time to tango?
Sister? Ah, Lashini, you kept me waiting. What of your new friends? The wayward wake woman, or perhaps that lively nomad? Perhaps, with your presence, any obstacles preventing you from bringing them along should have easily been reduced to naught. They're in the city, but this is the moment to be shared by us alone. Indeed. It's cold out here on the balcony, so let's continue this in the corridor. A replica of where La Breathak died, in Nezeru. Why must you cling on to our inglorious history and repeat it? I see you've gained a deeper understanding of the word Tara. But if history does not repeat itself, then how can we speak of breaking the cycle?
Can be very difficult to tell us apart by appearance. But the moment either of us speaks, it becomes as clear as night and day. Eblana only ever steers the conversation towards her own interests, while Lashini is ever the polite one. She'd get to the bottom of this and find an ending. Don't interrupt me, sir. I'm talking about the characters in the story. We're still having the back and forth between the mysterious woman and the writer? The writer also being an unreliable narrator who probably embellished whatever was going on in the Dark Woods. What was that a metaphor for? Or something. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Eblana. No, I'm quite glad you finally accepted my invitation. To dance? Yes, to dance. I'll dance with you to the end, together. However, please tell me first. The last time we met, you said you couldn't afford to wait any longer. What exactly is going on?
With that same smile of hers, the older sister stands at the end of the corridor, while the younger clutches her hands together and hides in the shadow of a wall lamp, hoping the other party won't notice her heart wavering. Poor thing. She could have concluded this farewell so much sooner.
You've become frail. Flames of death must have had their limits. Spreading them so far would certainly drag you down as fire after fire blooms. Just like La Breathak, then. Am I right? I see. While that ghost's fire might resemble mine, his temperament is closer to yours. It seems he's helped you quite a lot. At first, he only wanted to watch all of Tara burn. He was simply trying to keep it together. Just like you.
The noble red dragon finally steps out of the shadows, walking forward to support her sister who seems on the verge of being unable to stand just like before.
Is that so? At last you resemble your younger self, when you knew nothing of flames or fate. The you who tried to shield me. It has been truly a long time, Lashini. I remember. It was when Mrs. Murphy next door passed away. You didn't like her but fancied the beautiful bouquet of flowers in her coffin. So you used your flames to change her body's position. I saw scorch marks on the flowers and thought you'd be scolded, so I told our parents I was the one who did it. I even fabricated a story about how I opened and closed the coffin. And so you were scolded instead. How could poor Mom and Dad, who couldn't even hide the flames in that family in time, possibly have noticed the faint scorch marks on some flowers? Indeed. Is that why you've always been cowering? Would you blame every decision you've made in life on one unfortunate childhood experience? Huh. So tell me, sister. Tell me there's still time. I'll accompany you out to the Citadel and into the square. Have the people return their flames to you. I'll walk through Tara's fields with you, and gather the dead you've intentionally and unintentionally awoken with your arts, sending them all to a peaceful rest. I'll recite poems to you while you're weak, till you fall asleep and wake up again. There's still time for all of that, yes? I trust you to keep your word. Your noble nature would be appalled at the very thought of breaking a promise. But what you just described, would that truly make you happy? Would that simply be enough to appease the Lushini Dublin, who did not even witness her parents' death that snowy night? Those beautiful fictions? Sister, love, poetry, dreams, those all well and good, but it is time for you to wake up. Kill me. If you truly wish to end this chaos, that is the only way.
Nope, not really. Hypergriff. Look, man, I get you're trying to set stakes and all, but we've been through this song and dance before. You faked us out on a death before, dog, on a playable character. I know how you operate, man. You have no balls to kill a playable character.
Then put on the crown and you shall become me, while I become you. That is the one thing I cannot do. You'll have time to mull over it once I'm dead. Didn't you decide not to hesitate anymore, Lushini? There's been no other choice for us from the moment you came back to see me.
The older sister's mouth curls up in an intriguing arc.
Come, dance with me. Is this the dance you've been looking forward to all this time? Why can't it be?
The younger sister closes her eyes as she points her spear at her older sister, whose body is about to topple over. She grips her weapon with both her hands. Well, I thought the spear was left behind on Rhodes Island. She still has whatever new spear that she has as a 6-star healer. Oh, we even get a sound effect? Oh! The sharp spear tip pierces the red dragon's body, but she stands unmoved, as if nothing happened at all, until her younger sister's hand circles her waist, and her body slowly crumbles, just like the end of a dance.
Yes, I know. I should have known long ago.
Oh wait, was this? Is this Reed? This is Reed.
But why? Why must it be now? Then when? Don't tell me you'd prefer to stab my heart on a fine afternoon, after meticulously dissecting every nuance of right and wrong with me. You returned to me, and we danced this dance together. That's enough. I only thought if my sorrow and hatred were thrown into a suitable flame, they'd eventually become the fuel for life to go on. Sorrow and hatred. So you admit, Lushini? Your noble virtues have only hurt you in the end. Where is your fire, sister? I can't put out your flames just like that. You mean the people in the city? You will die, but Not now. Your flames will be extinguished at your funeral, at your fire-returning ceremony. But still, you ought to be dispelling death with scorching flames, rather than holding the hand of the dead and confessing your inner turmoil, your own regrets. Otherwise, you'll only be ever as you are now, letting go of your chance to save everything. Your final chance.
For someone who's dying, she's kind of a yapper. Time to return the fire! The noble red dragon loses her grip in shock, and her sister's body drops to the ground, as cold as it was before her heart was pierced. It is not blood but purple fire that roars from the wound spanning her entire torso. It instantly floods the balcony and flows down the citadel. That's not good. We're supposed to return the fire, not put gasoline on it. The noble red dragon rushes over to the balcony, but the purple flames of death are even faster. Before her own flames can emit even the tiniest spark of light, the purple fire spreads across the city, burning the whole of Nezeru. The last time she looked out from this very spot, the flames were scattered like stars in the sky. When she had returned earlier that day, they coated the whole city with a cold, gloomy hue. And now, Nezeru itself burns fiercely, just like every other restless corpse she has seen. Well, I thought it would be simple. I thought we just return the fire, but nope. The fire still wants to rage, even at the brink of Eblana's death. EA-7, one who burns the lamp. As you wish, Eblana. Flashback.
How far is County Hillock?
Far. I forgot Harmony was also part of Dublin. Harmony, where have you fucking been? Lazing around on Rhodes Island, no longer relevant to the plot.
My sister must have known. Only the elocutionist and his band of idiots would consider this plan flawless. Then why are you still following me? Oh, believe me, if it were up to me, I'd be taking a nap in camp right about now. Why didn't my sister stop me? I don't know. Maybe she has high hopes for you. No, that's impossible. She's never looked at me like that. When I agreed to be her shadow, she... Please, Harmony, tell her I don't want to do this. That you don't want to go to County Hillock? Mm-hmm. And if she's in a good mood, could you tell her that from now on I'll... No, never mind. Fine. Can't hurt to pass it along, I suppose, although it's not easy avoiding the elocutionist's eyes and ears. Thank you. You should go. Before she gets bored.
Harmony did not return until they arrived at County Hillock. She knew what that meant. That night, when cannons roared and crystals bloomed, she lay on the streets of County Hillock, blood draining from her abdomen. She had not been afraid then. Instead, she felt relieved that she would die like any other person. But then she saw those purple flames on a tower not too far away. That was when she felt afraid. Afraid that the flames would overlook her and turn her into another puppet like those on the street. Afraid that the flames would find her and bring her back, forcing her to remain a shadow. She gazed into the fire, trying to find some hint of her future in it, but saw nothing but apathy. That which she feared most had finally happened. The dead dragon lies on the ground. Behind the living dragon, the wayward wake woman suddenly understands it all. What? Change of soundtrack?
She deceived you. No, she didn't deceive anyone. She set this all up, knowing you would never allow the city to die with her. She baited you into piercing her vessel, freeing her from her bonds and allowing the purple fire to spread, burning us all to ashes on the eve of Samhain. Why would she take such a risk for a festival she never cared about? I'm affected by the purple flames too. I can feel the flames of death burning in my chest colder than ever. So cold I'm growing number by the minute. It doesn't matter whether she's seeking dominion over all of Tara or if she's simply gone mad and wants the city to die with her. It's neither. Tara already belongs to her. She was very much lucid. She... Nemos, is her body still there? I'll go check.
No one kept an eye on the body? The wayward wake woman's brow is furrowed. Maybe she has never felt such malice in all her life, and as such has never harbored such resolve.
Her body is...
The sound of burning drowns out her answer.
Whatever she's trying to do, Cyrusy is not fully gone. The fire returning ceremony can still go on. It must go on. I'm well aware. I'll inform the citizens that the wicked red dragon they worshipped is dead. What about Bridget? I've asked her to leave the city and find the Wakeman. And how are you going to tell people that Eblana is dead? With a coffin. That seems appropriate. Even coffins are in short supply. She's not some nameless nobody. She deserves one. Is something wrong? No, I'm simply realizing how ugly the path she walked is. A path that even now waves at me invitingly. It's an invitation I have no choice but to accept. Go, Nemos. I'll buy you some time. You mean from the dark mist? Yes, if it wants to be a part of Samhain festivities, I will keep it at bay. I can hardly wait to ask the mist how to return the red dragon's flame to the darkness.
Somehow the mist is the solution to all of this. Oh, and of course, the writer is back in frame. How are we gonna make the mist solve all of our problems? Okay, I'm now 95% sure the mysterious woman's Eblana. It's like she's the only one that could have known all of these events and retelling them to this man's.
I can hardly wait to ask the mist how to return the red dragon's flame to darkness. How do you feel about that line? Now the ending of the dragon and her reflection is clear enough.
The writer stands up with a start.
Who are you? And what do you want?
All I want is to finish the story that you would not. Didn't you say I was the type who liked to piece together the truth? You've gotten so very close to it.
This is enough. I'm leaving.
If you won't tell the ending yourself, I suppose it falls on me.
Suddenly, someone opened their eyes, causing a surprised reflection to let go of her hand. The dragon fell into the fire burning bright. The reflection hit back in the mirror. When the fire subsided, the dragon was gone, and the people were anxious, for they could not find their dragon. The reflection wanted to explain, find a way to bring the dragon back. Without the dragon, though, she could no longer leave the mirror.
What do you think? You've been glancing over there at the newspapers, but not everything reported is as fact.
The writer looks towards the door. Trying to escape? Tries to imagine himself running out of the tavern, but it is such a preposterous proposition that he almost laughs out loud. If not everything reported is a fact, then he finally knows who this woman is and why she is here. Also knows that there is no escape. There is something else he realizes. Perhaps this is his chance to truly find the ending he had hoped for. No matter who she is, as long as the story continues, they are equals.
feels his spirit return. Okay, I don't care who you are or why you're here, but that's no way to tell a story. You haven't even given it an ending. All you did was extend an endingless story. But I have to know, did you really see a red dragon kill another? In the same sense that you saw the hero drag a giant metal skeleton to the square. A creative liberty, nothing more.
Wait. I'm starting to doubt which events actually did happen in this story.
And take responsibility for it. So the red dragon in the mirror accidentally caused her other self to burn to death in the fire. What's next? What did the people do? What about the dragon in the mirror? What about you? Don't you have any ideas of your own?
For the first time in a long while, the writer takes out a fountain pen from his pocket, then grabs one of the playing cards on the table. He tries to write something, but the tip of his pen has dried out from disuse.
I need time. But if it can be connected, then maybe... Connected? Let me guess. You're talking about the last story that you published.
The writer's pen scratches hard against the card. Finally, some ink oozes out of the tip. He is suddenly reminded of the words of Seamus Williams. May death connect us with all legends. Seamus Williams is dead, but he himself might, if he may be so impertinent, have a chance to be connected with the legends he wrote. He tries to scribble the poem on the card, but the pen leaves only broken, illegible ink trails.
Just maybe.
Yes. The writer sits back on the chair, his back even straighter than before. He suddenly feels an urge, the same one he felt after hearing a Seamus Williams poem for the first time. The same feeling that had taken him down this wretched path, which seizes his chest, makes him want to sing, to yell, to create.
You may have indeed solved the problem for me. As I said, what I've seen, what I believe, what I've said all contradict one another. Thanks to you, though, they're finally beginning to converge.
How lovely for you.
Now are you ready to start telling the third story? Of course. But I'll need your help. You'll need to pick up the narrative whenever it gets stuck. This is my story, but it's also yours. It has always been yours.
With pleasure. The writer's breathing is rapid, his face red. His fountain pen still refuses to write, so he throws it on the table. Yes, of course. He has not seen enough of those things already. Has he not seen enough of those things already? So what? He's a writer. He will soon find the ending of his story. Third and final act.
There was a mother
Ooh.
who once ruled a kingdom.
Voice acting!
Until her crown and her family were taken by her foes. The mother had a powerful daughter, who then made a pact with the dark mist in the dark woods to drive out their foes. The daughter reclaimed the kingdom for her mother, returning the promised peace to the dark mist. The mother was to host a grand coronation for her daughter, but the daughter died mysteriously right before the event. Tremendous woe and then rage engulfed the mother. Her zeal to avenge her daughter was so fierce that the entire kingdom was scorched by her vengeful fire. Until that fury disturbed the dark mist, who had just returned to its resting peace. The dark mist demanded that the mother cease, or she would be dragged into the darkness. But in her grief, the mother remained convinced that the dark mist was the one who had taken her daughter. A desperate battle was then inevitable. The mother determined to risk her life.
Nemos. Read.
At the city gates, the nomad looks back at the citadel in the distance one last time. She resists the urge to turn tail and flee at the acrid burning smell. She knows what it signifies. She knows she should do as Nemo said, and leave the city to seek the Wakemen as quickly as possible, regardless of whether Lashini was successful. But despite the urgency in Nemos' voice, she did not sound like she believed things would take a turn for the better, nor did she believe that Bridget could convince the Wakemen to come. Bridget could smell the same burning smell coming from Nemos. It reminded her of the obsessions that only the dead could have. Deadbeat Grandpappy, appearing one last time, your visage kinda transparent. You gonna pass away, or you gonna leave one final note?
Who are you waiting for? Death? Or just waiting for it to pat you on the back so you could have a little nice race together?
Who is that?
Oh, I forgot you could hear me.
I can hear you, and I can even sense your presence, but I can't see you.
Leave the city, outsider.
You're an outsider too by the sound of it.
Naturally. Considerate advice from one outsider to another. Live, Bridget. Nothing is more important than being alive. The city will be dead by sunrise tomorrow. Listen to Nemos. Find her kinsmen, run as far as you can, and never look back.
You're right. I should go. But I will be back.
Back? Stubbornness and stupidity really are hereditary. You're going to come back after she tried so hard to get you out of here.
So you also think it was just an excuse to keep me safe?
What else could it be? You really think you could sway those wood brains? Even if you waited for spring, one of their brains would sprout and they might come to you in the dark woods.
I don't like the way you talk, Invisible Brother.
What did you call me? Brother?
You have burnt stench, but other than that, you remind me of the nomads. No clue how you're related to us, but it feels right.
Let's make a bet then, Bridget.
A bet?
On whether you will be back tonight, before Nezeru is burned to the ground. I say it's impossible.
That's not what you really want to bet on.
Oh yeah? Then tell me what I'm really thinking.
You just want to prove that you're right, that nothing is more important than being alive. You think I'll choose survival in the end. But whatever, you're on.
Well, what are you waiting for then?
Just doesn't feel fair. If you win, I'll live the rest of my life in regret, but if I win, it doesn't really matter to a bystander like you. So how about this? If I win, you can go back to where you came from.
And where do you think I should go back to?
No idea, but not here. This isn't your home. You sound like you've been betrayed by the city folk here before. But you still can't bring yourself to hurt them. You act like you want to see them reap what they sowed, but didn't sound happy at all when you talked about the city burning to the ground. Honestly, you're the most struggling person I've ever met, and...
Enough!
That struck a chord. Oh, she clocked him.
Very well. If you win, I'll return to where I belong. But just coming back here to die won't cut it.
What else do you need me to do then?
Deliver a message to those wood brains outside the city. Tell them. It's been 600 years. Nobody's blaming you anymore. Go do your jobs. Oh, and one more thing.
Ancient Tengai expletive.
You stupid wood brains!
What?
Pass that on to those fools verbatim. Especially the filthier bits. Did you get all of that? Need me to repeat myself?
No, the elders sometimes speak that language, so I understand it, more or less.
Then go. What are you waiting for? Was all that just so you could tell me this? Just get moving already.
The golden-haired nomad takes a deep breath and runs away from the city. Her ancestor, whose figure she never saw, stands in place, unmoving. Ancestor? Wait, Grandpappy was her Grandpappy? I wouldn't have thought that. Huh. I thought her ancestors were the Wakemen who originally held the funeral rites for this man's. I didn't think that Bridget was directly related to him. Interesting. You're part Draco? Ah, whatever.
That stubbornness and stupidity really are hereditary.
I don't know, I feel like we could have fleshed this out a bit more and not have held out on it until the final act. I feel like Bridget could have had more screen time to flesh this whole relationship out with the exiled king. It's like, he mattered more to Reed and Eblana's plotline than Bridget's. So far, at least. Nemos turns to leave while Lashini looks towards the dark woods. The sun has set beneath the horizon. Curfew is about to begin. The mist is coming. Will the mist be our... Will it be our MacGuffin? Is that how we're gonna cleanse the flames? Will the flames be absorbed by the dark woods? Hold up. In the distance, she sees the darkness spreading from the forest towards Nezeru, thicker than ever.
Made it in time.
She raises her spear towards the mist outside, lighting a bright yellow spark in the city of purple. As though receiving some kind of message, the mist slowly rises until it is level with the flame at the tip of her spear.
Yes, come here, where it's warm and bright, where there's still life. Yes, over here. What, you want to pretend I don't exist again? I won't let you! The light will never go out, not until the darkness falls.
Attracted by the flame in her hand, yet unable to approach, the mist begins to flow through the streets. Soon it returns. By this time, her flame can neither draw nor repel it. There is a cacophony within the mist. She feels as though everything has gone dark all of a sudden. The dark mist has come.
Is this your answer?
Yes, this is my answer.
It's incomplete. It needs time. This is your enemy, not your friend.
We'll see about that. The deathly fires have not yet completely transformed the people into the walking dead. They're still alive. There's still time to return the flames. You're not going anywhere until Nemos awakens them.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous? Maybe. Maybe my strength, my wisdom, and my arts are so insignificant to you that it seems ridiculous. But I have my resolve. Meanwhile, back at the Citadel, Nemos drags the coffin through the corridor. The red dragon's remains do not burn. They simply lie there quietly. This is how death should be. But Nemos seems to hear an ethereal voice laughing in her ear. Without hesitation, the wayward wake woman lifts the limp body and tosses it into the coffin. This coffin, Red Dragon, is your final resting place. It's where those like you belong. So where are you now? Are you still watching us from somewhere with that twisted smile of yours? But this vessel, at least, is beyond your reach. Otherwise, you'd have burned me to ash by now. This spear, which never left your side. How many times have you breathed your flames from it, and how many others like Kulan have been your victims? You don't even know the answer, do you? With great effort, Nemos lifts the spear and thrusts it into the coffin. Flames from its tip engulf the coffin in an instant, spreading along the rope, connecting to Nemos and merging with the purple fire on her. A deathly cold runs through Nemo's body, but she could hardly feel temperature at this point.
You're mine now. I'll finish what Kulan started. Let's go to those lowly, despicable places that suffered from the war you stole victory in. You will be seen by all. Your death will be seen by all. They will know that you are dead. That the proud, imperious Red Dragon is dead. Here lies Eblana Dublin, this coffin covered in freezing flames. What will they do then? I pray that your death will wake them up, of course as Loshini hoped. That they'll know that the era you represented is over, that Nezeru will escape this calamity, that Tyra need not celebrate its rebirth with the death of a city.
Is Nemo's related to Wolfenite? I have no idea, actually. So far, Wolfenite hasn't showed up in this story whatsoever.
Your fire must have got into my head, Dragon. Why is that I suddenly feel like the other ending? Where it all leads to destruction isn't so bad. Someone else may have killed you, but this is my revenge.
The coffin remains silent and Nemo's no longer speaks. Silent, delirious, and determined, she drags the burning coffin down the stairs, making a point to let it hit each step on the way down. Jesus Christ, she's BMing the dead! It sounds like the withered mockery of the dead. I mean, Eblana did deserve it, so... EA-8, at the end of the night, await the deluge, and when the sun rises, we shall have surpassed both life and death. They're not gonna keep Eblana dead, she's a playable character. She's the mysterious woman that's been talking to the writer at the start of the story. She's the one recounting everything. Hypergriff doesn't have the balls to kill a playable character. They're gonna pull a shoe on us and bring her back to life, so they could have both their cakes of high-stakes story development with deaths and so on, but also a scary, marketable gacha waifu to sell. She's not alive, she's undead. She'll be undead sooner or later. Nemo's drags the coffin out of the citadel. Not a single soul is in the square with the statue. Curfew has begun and she drags the Red Dragon's coffin over as the demonic flames burn within her own body. Wherever she goes, the darkness retreats. Once she moves on, it reoccupies the space.
Kalan, I envy you. No one could have slept through you dragging that colossal statue, forcing them to come out to see what's going on. But what about me, Kalan? What am I supposed to do? Do I have to keep shouting the Red Dragon is dead as I walk down the street?
She lifts her head to meet the statue's eyes. The violet flames dancing within its pupils do not answer. She recalls the songs she sung for the dead with the Wakemen all those years ago. Those from the city would also join in, if only for the first few lines.
I hope you all remember the ancient ballads, Terrence. So, Red Dragon, which song should I sing to announce your death? How about the blasphemous Tim Finn's Wake? Would you enjoy a funeral where people get into fights, splash whiskey on your corpse, and then wake you up after smelling the alcohol? Forget it. No one wants to see you coming back to life.
Except a couple freaks that earned Hypergriff 16 million in revenue. Just a couple freaks. She casually sings another song that pops into her mind.
The black clouds shroud the marsh and the vales. Cold wind shrieks through the mountains and hills. At the crack of dawn, I see a traveler who asked me the way of the golden field.
The wayward wake woman sings with a hoarse voice, dragging the burning coffin towards every inhabited part of the city she's familiar with. Can we get a CG of that? That would be Kino and Peak, please? She stops at every house, making sure that the purple flames reflect in their windows, that the elegy is heard inside. Title drop. More she sings, the more intimately the flames envelop her body, overwhelming her sluggish senses and making every step feel like torturous labor.
but it also lets her hear even the smallest snippets of speech from every window. Terran language classes, Kieran? That can't possibly be free, right? That price, well, it's doable as long as we cut down on the wine. Bloody hell, Kieran, if I helped you more back then— oh wait, no, same guy. If I helped you more back then, could you have escaped the Victorians? Damn dark mist. If the Red Dragon won't drive it away, I'll do it myself. Black clouds shroud the Martian vales. The cold wind shrieks through the mountain hills. At crack of dawn I see a traveler who asked me the way of the golden field. Who's that? Amos. What's she up to? Singing in the middle of the night? And what's that she's dragging? That burns so bright. Darling, even if you want to help the Terran cause, surely you don't have to join the army. Oh, fine, I'll wait for you to come home, for the day we win our freedom. Finally, some quiet. Going on and on about how your hand hurts, when your whole arm's already gone. It's not like screaming about it's going to get you any medicine. If it was going to be like this, I wish you'd never come home. I'd rather spend my whole life missing you. I said to him, poor chap, even I don't know how far you have to go. But if you wish, I'll go with you for a bit, towards the golden field. Isn't this a funeral song? Those purple flames? Who is it mourning? What? The enemies have entered the woods and are right outside the city. I can't sit back and do nothing. Wait, no. Is this Kulan? I don't think this is Kulan. I can't sit back and do nothing, Nemos. Where's the army recruiting? I'll take my weapons and go.
There's neither light nor any voice behind this window. Oh! That implies that he's dead.
Turn right and pass by the palace, cross the river of fine wine. I'll share a cup by the riverside before we return to the Golden Field Road.
He never came back. Theo! Hyperriff. Why? Do we always have to kill a nondescript NPC child to raise the stakes?
Miss Nemos, will you be moving in with Mr. Kalan after the war is over? Oh, I was hoping there'd be someone other than me to cook for him. Perhaps the most important thing to do before Her Highness returns is to repair the workshop door. I hope you find that golden field and a home in flames you'll never yield. Sure you won't hesitate then? Complete your trip to the golden field.
What's up, deadbeat?
A wake woman on the brink of death. Who does she think she's going to rouse with those songs? She can't even wake herself up. But whatever happens, Bridget, silly child of my distant bloodline.
Oh, okay, distant bloodline. Got it. Not directly a Draco. Just got some of that lizard blood. Part lizard, part doggy.
Don't come back. The city isn't worth your life.
Brother, we just fought through an entire war to liberate the Terrans. We're not gonna let it die here in some throwaway. Not really a throwaway event. This is like the Terran plotline has been integral for the Victorian saga because it's a direct mirror of the Sarkaz plight, except under the discrimination of Victorians. Nemos walks towards the last street she has yet to visit. She has been through practically the entire city and heard the simmering restlessness behind every door, and none of them opened. The wayward wake woman gradually loses her grasp on her senses as her voice grows weaker. She has sung every song she knows, even the blasphemous Tim Finn's Wake, from start to finish. She only has one song left. She did not want to sing it, but now she has no other choice. I stepped into the dark woods one morn, falling to the mists of horror. That's the song we've been singing throughout the entire chapter, the entire event. I trod upon the road heading out to war. This is the funeral song that the Wakemen give, that the Wakemen sing during the fire returning ceremony.
Nemos.
Resident's kinda looking fucked up right now.
Emma. I almost couldn't recognize you. You're still...
I don't know if she's fully alive right now. She's kinda in between.
I'm not doing good, Nemos. I'll be dead soon. I just want to lie in bed and stop breathing. My joints hurt. My throat's burning. I'm even seeing people who aren't with us anymore. But I heard your song and saw the coffin. I'm on death's door already, so I figured why not come and see. Where's the dark mist? Maybe in the forest. Maybe in the city. Maybe right behind us. I don't know and I don't care.
She's half dead. She's in the in-between. Also, what's up, her? Here for the finale.
I don't care either. One question, Nemos. I need you to answer it before I can die in peace.
We're not letting you fucking die, dog. We fought hard for the liberation of the Terran peoples. It'll be way too depressing if the city dies.
Inside that coffin? Is that truly a red dragon?
Emma stands on her front porch, staggering as if ready to collapse at any moment into a pile of kindling, to burn in despair and return to dust.
I put her in the coffin myself. Why did she die? Who killed her? Who?
Emma's feeble but angry voice echoes down the empty streets. Who? 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 The echoes linger. Nemos turns around to look. The streets are still empty, but she knows where the echoes are coming from. Behind every closed door is a pair of bloodshot eyes hidden away, just like the ones on Emma's face. That's creepy. Nemos turns again to look towards the towering citadel where nothing remains within.
Guys, still want revenge? That's right. As long as we can move.
Brother, there are no Victorian spies in this city, dog! We've been shadowboxing Victorian spies while we got eaten alive by the purple flame! The call is coming from inside the house!
We can avenge the red dragon.
Yeah, they're a bit too far gone. Nemos turns away in despair. She stops singing her songs and merely hauls the coffin step by step towards the square.
Wait, Nemos! Wait!
Meanwhile, Reed's just handling the mist. Mr. Mist! Mrs. Mist? They, them, Mist. Can you help us with the flame problem? There's still the issue of the mist, because we've already established that everything that went on that was mystical with the dark forest and the mist is somehow embellishment by Mr. Ryder. We don't know what it fucking is. We don't know how it'll solve our problems, but it's probably the most important thing in the story right now.
How many times must I repeat myself, Mist? Eblana is dead. I killed her with my own hands. Her body lies in the coffin Nemo's is dragging through the city. The people must know that she is dead and return her violet flames, so their bodies will no longer burn.
Can we even return their flames? Are they willing to return the flames?
Wishful thinking. She did not gift those flames. She merely started the fire. Everything the Red Dragon promised will be lost because of you.
When has she ever cared about honoring her promises? But if that's all that matters to you...
Lashini retreats step by step until there's no room for her to move any further. Only then does a fierce flame burst from her spear tip, melting the coldly lit vegetation.
Know that the only Red Dragon stands before you. Whatever she's promised you, the only way you'll get it is through me.
Oh! Oh, we did establish that Eblana made some sort of deal with the mist. It showed up at the Citadel.
You hear the doors opening in the distance? You must have. Nemo's aside, the first resident to break curfew has already opened their door. So for their sake, as well as the hundreds more who will take the very same streets, you must remain here. Before my answer to Nezeru is deemed a failure, before the people here are reduced to shambling corpses bent on tearing the dark mists apart, you have no right to take the lives of anyone trespassing in the dark.
What arrogance!
You call this arrogance? If Tara needs it, I can be far more arrogant than that.
The Red Dragon speaks no more, and the flames of life burn brightly atop her spear. She steps forward with her back straight, no longer dodging the ice-cold branches, but allowing them to lace her body with bloodied scratches. Hold up, chapter check. This is before. The juxtaposition of the giant statue with the two tiny figures make them seem like ghosts. But somehow Nemo's can almost feel the presence of others beside Emma. In fact, they seem to have crowded the square, as if the whole city is here. They're all watching, listening, lit up by the strange purple glow from their originium lamps. No, it's more than a glow. Their bodies are burning purple.
The one who killed the Red Dragon is...
Nemo's knows they haven't changed a bit. They're still waiting for her to utter a name that they could curse and then destroy. Or maybe they will even destroy themselves. Lashini, no one would believe that there would actually be two Red Dragons. Who else then? Who else could possibly kill the dragon who seemed to toy with life and death? Before she could stop herself, she has a thought. Why not just say it was the Dark Mist, or the Victorians? I wouldn't say it was the Victorians. If she says it's the Victorians, this city will crumble to dust. That's like the worst answer. The city will become more insular, and they're gonna continue the chaos and kill each other looking for Victorians to shadowbox that don't exist.
Revenge. Indeed. Let these lunatics dash into the mist and die in the Red Dragon's name. Let them fulfill their desire for vengeance and let this violet city die. It was born in disgrace, let it die in madness. Yes, die. Let everyone who stayed perish, just like those who left and went into the dark mist.
Distant voice. I stepped into the dark woods one morn, falling to the mists of horror.
Nemo's turns around to look at the colossal dragon skeleton and recalls that recent evening awash with confusion and sorrow. What was he thinking? The man who dragged the statue into the square. What song was he singing in his heart? Was it the song that they taught Theo when they rescued him? What feels like centuries ago? At this moment, the last bit of her sanity snatches the answer from the fiery clutches of her rage. The answer that had been fluttering around since the very beginning of the story. The answer to the Red Dragon, to the sisters, to the mirror and reflection, and to the flames of life and death.
Kalan, if it wasn't you to throw his life away protecting these people, the one who killed the Red Dragon is none other than the Red Dragon. It was herself.
Technically true. The woman before Nemo stares at her blankly, as if she did not hear her words. Straining her entire being, Nemos yells at the whole city. The Red Dragon killed herself! She never intended to light the flames within your bodies, but she did not want you to burn into cinders, so she offered her own life instead. To protect you from death, and yet... must you exact a fruitless revenge? Must you destroy everything she gave her life for? The city falls silent as purple flames flicker, leaving only the dark mist lingering restlessly at the gates, as if waiting for the hesitant prey to step into its domain.
You're saying she killed herself? So we wouldn't exact revenge? Then, what do we do now?
The onslaught of questions from the residents sends Nemos' head spinning. Bloodshot eyes did not shut from news of her death. Instead, asked her questions. Grinding teeth did not relax from the news of the death. Instead, asked her questions. Clenched fist did not open from news of the death. Instead, asked her questions. Silence, tension, confusion. The revenge was rejected, overruled by the Red Dragon. So where should their sorrow go?
Niels, my unborn child, the Red Dragon, someone tell me. Emma, if even revenge is out of my hands, then what else can I do? I have nothing else. The war took everything from me.
Lady, you're still alive. Barely hanging on, but you're still alive. We still got this city.
How am I supposed to live on? Tell me, Niels. Tell me, Red Dragon. Anyone? Just tell me quickly, how am I supposed to live on? Or should I go to you instead? Emma, no! Isn't this the only path left for me?
I stepped into the dark woods one morn, calling to the mists of horror.
Niels, is that you? Are you finally back?
Somehow I think the one singing the funeral song isn't any of the citizens. It's fucking deadbeat Grandpappy. No? Is it Bridget? Oh, it's Bridget. Okay. Close enough.
I trod upon the road heading out to war. No pipes a-singing, nor battle drums a-roar. Only the bells behind me through dew and fog, their rings do soar.
Oh, Bridget is back! Oh, wait! Did she bring the wakemen? I think she brought the wakemen for the funeral. They finally come after getting rejected at the start of the event.
Stop singing! That song snatched Niels away from me. Why would you sing that song, Nomad?
Emma seems lost to madness until a soft voice sings the same tune, but with different lyrics. The night-blind labor is led by a wake woman as they slowly walk into the square. Morin is here! Dublin 2 is here!
Again through the dark woods. I said stop singing that! Wait, again? May be presumptuous, but I tried writing a new verse to the song. Well, because I don't want our brave loved ones to leave us, to never see us again, to be eternally lost in the mist just like we are. Again through the dark woods, parting the mists of horror. Our gallant dearly departed, my heart so sad and sore. And so in my dreams I go, lighting bonfires in the woods. Not to reunite, but to light the path you trod with fog and dew. Not to reunite, but to light the path you trod. A tear trickles from Emma's eyes, streaking across her sallow face. Return it. Return your flames and the blessing of the red dragon. Return the flames? If I return this blessing, this fire back to her, will it light up their path? Return it and the wandering departed will also return to the flames and rest in peace.
Bro! Morin finally became a wake woman. She wanted to be a wake woman since her childhood.
No, I don't want that. I just want to see him again. If you die as you are, you will only brush past each other in the fog, again and again. Then what should I do? Live on. You chose to walk into the mist so you wouldn't need to be lost within it as well. Return the fire to light this path, then let the years pass. Let life begin anew, and when your hair is white and he learns his wish was fulfilled, only then will you meet again.
The woman buries her face in her hands as she kneels on the ground, tears streaming down her fingers. Morin hands her a candle. The candle flame turns purple the moment she takes it between sobs. The wakemen and refugees slowly sing their way through the city, like a tiny stream left behind after a night of rain. Hold up. Chapter check? Still before. Dang, I got too into it. Lost track. It is by no means a clear stream, nor a turbulent one. It is a miserable, muddy trickle flowing down centuries of painful history, carrying dust and blood, and about to run dry. But it is this murky bitterness that reveals the city's true self, this gloomy night. Nights of falling asleep gripping old photos, mornings awakened by phantom pain from amputated limbs. Now empty houses fell to ruin, while those fortunate enough to return home were greeted only by the orphan dolls scattered across dusty floors.
The doors are opening? They are.
People flood into the streets like a burst dam, pouring into the square. Some leave their homes with candles in hand, while many more follow Emma's lead, take one from the wake woman. The flames still burn purple, but they seem to have softened, and bear a bit of warmth.
Finally! Place the red dragon's coffin at the statue's base, Nimos. It seems Nezeru will witness a grand fire-returning ceremony tonight. You should be the first, Nimos. Me? But this is her funeral. So, are you sure? It is more than just hers, is it not?
It's for Kulan, it's for Theo, it's for all the people who died in the chaos, it's for all the people... Fuck! Okay. You got me hypergrip, you got me crying at another event, dog. It's for all the Terrans who fought to liberate themselves from Victoria. God damn, hypergrip, it's Kido. Okay, you got me, Hypergriff. Take my +1. Take it. Assholes having me cry at another event, dog. The Wake Woman looks around, trying to pinpoint the shadow of a stranger. But even if the ghost wasn't trying to hide from her, she has no way of hearing the long overdue words forgiveness from his mouth. You deadbeat piece of shit showing up last minute. You trying to have a funeral of your own?
Now we're even with brains.
Nemos takes a candle from the Wake Woman and bows before the burning coffin beneath a dragon statue. Rest in peace. She deliberately neglects to mention the name of the departed. She places a candle before the coffin, no longer able to stop her tears from crashing into the flames. Violet fire instantly rises up into the sky, spreading from the coffin to the entire statue. The entire sculpture is set ablaze. The crowd place their candles down by the statue and return the purple flames to the one who granted them their hue. Some are silent, some call the Red Dragon's name. Many more chant the most precious things they had lost in the war. Tears fall like rain. The suppressed, the promised, the twisted, the incited. Tears wash away the flickering hollow pageantry, revealing only the sorrow of lives crushed to bits. Crude, sharp, turbid, stuck in their throats. Only now does their sorrow manage to cry out. The rain of tears converges into the stream of songs, pooling around the statue as the raging blaze evaporates it all, until even the citadel behind the square is engulfed in flames. Meanwhile, the 1v1 between Reed and the Mist still ongoing, keeping it back so we could have the funeral. As I said, this is my answer. Mist does not reply, but after a long time, Lashini hears a deep sigh.
You made this choice yourself.
I'm gonna throw one last theory of what I think the Mist is. I think the Mist is Grandpappy. I think Grandpappy's the one behind the Mist. Is the only other explanation. He's been testing the Red Dragons to see if history would repeat itself. He's the only one who also wanted to exact revenge on the Terrans after he was killed 600 years ago. He even said it himself, if he wanted to see the city burn itself to the ground. The Mist is just here to help out with that. The dark mist dissipates like awakening from a dream, and Lashini sees real black clouds above her. She heads towards the square. She goes to return the fire to the dead. She walks the whole way from the city gates to the square. Every living resident is gathered before the burning statue. The soaring purple flames have already taken over one side of the citadel. No one is able to approach, so Lashini gets all the space that she could want.
It should work from here too. Eblana, may Terra never need your flames again.
A small blossom of fire flies from Lashini's palm. She doesn't know if this conforms to funerary tradition. It is simply an act of instinct. The bright yellow flower flutters into the purple blaze. Lashini stands quietly, as the other fire returners have done. And then we have to fight the statue for some reason. Okay, look, dog. Oh, we needed a boss for the event. We can treat ourselves to a little bit of Ludo narrative dissonance. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the burning hatred that the Terrans still hold within. That's why we fight it as a boss. Oh. Wait. 3D CG technology in my Arknights storyline in 2025? The technology really is here. The purple fire still lights up half the sky until everyone has returned their flames. Though the originium lamps on their waists remain an ice-cold violet. Lashini finally realizes that at some point, the giant dragon still aflame has stopped right before her. She meets its eyes. Eblana's eyes.
Still not giving up, Eblana. Farewell then. I'll play along with you. One last time.
Enfield could never. Lashini's spear tip flares up at the giant dragon as the giant dragon flaps its wings and charges towards it. Metaphorically? Or physically? Whatever, dog. We're working with an unreliable narrator. They're embellishing the story. Meanwhile, back on the land ship? The battleship? Flashback.
Your Highness, the singers just sent word that the elocutionist and the rest have taken Lashini. They're on their way back to County Hillock.
I see.
We only sent news after our troops left and the leader had already set out for County Hillock. He seemed to want to avoid offending the elocutionist and his group, also to avoid accusations of concealing information.
Where has the Brigadier been in all of this? He did survive the Dark Woods. He's been missing from the scene for a while now, since we started.
What should we do to him?
Dublin has never needed him to be our eyes. No one is counting on him for this.
My utmost apologies. I take full responsibility. I assumed they were heading towards County Hillock on orders, and never imagined they'd dare to take Lashini. But they haven't gotten far, so we can still catch up if we set off now.
Your Highness, I bring news from your sister. She hopes you could curb the elocutionist and his men from acting rashly and bring her back.
She said that herself.
That's right.
I'll mobilize the troops at once.
Hold on.
Your Highness, we should stop them as soon as possible.
Also, I don't want to go to County Hillock straight from the dragon's mouth. If that is truly her desire, then she ought to realize it with her own hands. It would be no difficult task with her flames. Has she not already sentenced quite a few to death in the name of the leader? Tell her this. If that is what she wants, she can do it herself. No, there's no need even for that. Your Highness, if I may be so bold, she is my sister.
Eblana is not who she says she is. That's a line that's still stuck with me from yesterday. The giant dragon flaps its steel wings, stirring up a flaming vortex. But Lashini does not waver. She stabs her spear firmly in its eye socket. Oh, we're gonna double kill. We're gonna double tap her and then bring her back to life.
Still unable to commit to killing me, Lashini.
Gradually, the dragon's voice overlaps with Eblana's, and eventually even its body becomes hers. The scenery around them changes swiftly, just like that night in the ruins with La Breathak. Eblana was pushing Shinny to independence from the very beginning. And a fucked up way of doing it, but sure. What if it didn't pan out? A lot of things had to fall exactly in place. But sure, as fate would have it, things did fall into place. Kismet. And somehow we're back in the woods. Another embellishment by the writer, and the mysterious woman were no longer at the square. I just don't know. What exactly do you want? You deceived me and lied to so many, all for what? For a city to be buried alongside you? To become the next legendary King Gale? I never lied to you. And why should I believe you now? What exactly is Nezeru see to you? What about Tara? I had always believed we shared the same dream, so why do they seem completely different now? Or will dreams eventually become a card for you to play in your mad pursuit of power? One that you'll inevitably grow bored of, just like Lashini back in County Hillock. County Hillock? I saw no desire to return to me in your eyes back then. Only relief. Was I mistaken? Though I was truly sick of it back in County Hillock. With my flames, I could mold anything I want into any shape I want, everything except my reflection in the mirror. No matter how large a blaze I stoked, she wouldn't change one bit. Because you've never burned her directly. Because I've never burned you directly. I've only ever waited. I've only ever been waiting. Waiting for you to give me an answer. An answer? What about you, Lashini? What do you want? Yes, it's good that your blood and your upbringing have you carry yourself high. But if you want for nothing, then what sort of position am I meant to leave by my side for you? Go on. This is your wish on a snowy night? I'll let you aspire as grand as you want. True, you have never used your flames on me, but only because you had other tools more suited to the task. Fear, duty, guilt, sympathy. You've never asked me directly to change, and you've done so indirectly countless times. So all my attempts to guide you were useless, yet my apathy bore fruit. How terribly ironic. Whatever the case, you finally returned of your own free will, ready to embrace a real life. That is enough. Conspiracies, lust for power, war, is that what you'd call a real life? Is it not? Stories, poems, legends. Do you think those are enough to constitute a life worthy for you and I? I know. I've always been ashamed of myself. Even now I hate myself for not sharing your suffering. I was the one who left, forcing you to shoulder it all on your own, letting them mold you into what you are now. No, Lashini. Recently, I've been wondering if you were just as arrogant as I am. The only difference is that my arrogance is directed at the land, while yours is focused solely on me. What? Conspiracies, lust for power, war. Why do you assume those are what shaped me? They have never shaped me. They simply happened to take on a form I was able to wield with ease, nothing more. The tiniest bit of power can decide whether one lives or dies.
Even more power can decide the fates of armies, and an overwhelming amount can decide the rise and falls of nations. But power comes to an end. The poets have always known this, and I think you do too. Am I wrong, Lashini? Death mocks all equally, preparing a predestined end for those who crave power, ruthlessly snatching away everything they spent their whole lives chasing. So if you knew your path would come to naught, why did you still?
Eblana backs away as a giant steel-forged dragon follows suit. Is it escaping or trying to hide? Lashini subconsciously eases her fire, but in the next moment bites down on her lip and abruptly increases her strength, pushing Eblana forward.
Very good. At least you have learned the most fundamental thing required for a life without me. Cruelty. Determination. If you have decided that this path is your life, then step forward and never look back. You should be telling that to the people of Nasarisi. Let me finish. Death mocks all equally, yet I shall mock death. So bless me, dear sister, for I am finally about to embark on a grand adventure.
Wait. Eblana retreats again and again, the smile on her face fainter than ever. The sensation in Lashini's arms of piercing through steel gradually lessens until it feels as though a stroke through a body, then as hollow as running a spear through flame. Until an immense force, like the final flash of a dying light, erupts from her spear tip, pulling Lashini towards the other side. Ice-cold flames wrap around her body, and she suddenly realizes that she now stands at the entrance of the citadel, on Red Dragon Square, right in the middle of the fire-returning rite. Or perhaps, the dragon skeleton she is currently entangled with merely returned to its original position, took the chance to pull her in, with her firm grip on her spear, into the core of the funeral flames.
Do you still wish to get away from me, Lashini?
Light shoots out from Lashini's spear, brighter than ever. In a flash, she feels a burning sensation as painful as her internal organs rupturing repeatedly. The flames of life burst and fade in the center of death, again and again, till her weapon can no longer stand overloaded arcs and bursts of flame as well. The dragon's bones crash and collide with each other, like thousands of mouths singing their separate elegies. The flames slowly grow warmer as Eblana's figure gradually fades. Lashini's lips quiver, itching to say words of farewell. In her heart, she scans every book she has read, yet is unable to recall an appropriate line. Before she dissipates, Eblana slowly cradles Lashini in an embrace.
Farewell, till death do us meet again. I hope you enjoy my parting gift. Parting gift?
Look, man, no one here actually thinks she's dead. I would cry for the people of Tara. I would cry for everyone that died to get us here. I don't have tears for Eblana. She's not dead either, so... The mourners in the square are completely oblivious to what is occurring within the flames. All they see is a fire growing taller and stronger, now covering the pedestal, the coffin, the dragon sculpture, the citadel, yet continuing to ascend. The flames distort the dragon's figure. They can no longer tell whether it is flapping its wings in flight in a death match with some unseen foe, or crying out in anguish with its head run through. Everyone is silent, trying to identify its posture in the firelight, but all is in vain. Until Bridget cries out in surprise.
The fire changed color!
The fire changed color. A strong wind rising from the ground turns the sky searing purple flames into a maelstrom, and at the bottom, where the coffin lies, arises a small but scorching sun. The entire deep purple vortex seems to light up, emitting a shining yellow from the bottom to the top. Everyone near the bonfire backs away. The flames suddenly bear warmth, nearly burning them. The rising heat dissipates, evaporating even the stream of sorrow. Perhaps a miracle is about to occur, is the only thought on anyone's mind.
A miracle. One I have no choice but to accept for Tara. Is this the parting gift you prepared for me, sister?
Eblana is undeniably dead. Fuck you, Hypergriff. Bro, no one believes that, dog. You don't kill playable characters in a gacha game. She cannot answer. The Shinny tries to recall their hug. Expectations met. A pinch of warmth and cold calculations. What were the proportions of each in that embrace? Or maybe all those things were inseparable to Eblana.
You were right, Eblana. If this was your ultimate goal, if you insist on laying this blood-stained crown atop my head, then yes. Slan abhaile. Until death, we shan't meet again.
Until, of course, they run into each other on Rhodes Island. The flaming vortex exhales and dissipates. The red dragon, the one who led the Terrans through the long night, steps forth from the statue's center towards the entirety of Nezeru Sea. Everyone's gonna think, whoa, she came back to life. She's the same person. Her expression is blurred by the flame, yet her figure is as solid as the ever-persistent life on the land. One step, then another. Her feet step over the coffin, still burning in purple embers. There's no body within, only the familiar flame-spewing spear of the leader. Body check! The crowd holds their breath, and the square falls silent, as if they stand outside a hospital's delivery room, or perhaps a cemetery after the last shovel of soil has been heaped into a grave. Only dancing flames remain, without a rest.
I can forgive everything else you've done to me, Eblana, but not this parting gift. Never. From past to present, your name will sink into oblivion, alongside the countless names who built Tara. The only Red Dragon of Tara will be Lashini Dublin.
Eblana died for Terran's sins. She did, but also, it was her flames that began this to begin with. Flames that, understandably, she did not ask for. It was a fate that was thrust upon her on birth. Fate wanted another 2 red dragons to kill each other and burn down the Terran peoples. However, Grandpappy, unfortunately for him, the cycle was broken.
I have returned. The Red Dragon who led you all in the fight against Victoria, in the fight for independence and freedom. Lashini Dublin is back from the abyss of death. I died to quench the flames upon you all, but the rain of tears you shed for me extinguished that fire, allowing me to return from the abyss.
Okay. I can accept that as a founding myth that will ignite the spark of the Terran peoples forward. That's a fine founding myth. And Eblana can peace out, become unemployed, and somehow find herself on Rhodes Island. Also, maybe tell the real story to Mr. Ryder.
This time, though, I will not drive you to your deaths. A grand undertaking is complete. Never again will there be cause for countless Terrans to offer up their lives and leave us only ruins and wailing.
This is so corny, OMG. I'm hope maxing, dog. I don't find this corny. She did die for their sins, technically, yes, but also, I accept it. I'm fully hope maxed. But also, I still don't fully forgive Eblana. She's still kind of fucked up in her own way. But whatever, we're gonna use Eblana as kindling to nurture, as kindling for the bonfire to nurture Tara moving forward. I accept that. She's both a villain and a hero in a way. And then she's gonna be unemployed.
I pray with all my heart that every Terran will be able to curb their own flame. Flames that came from slavery, from oppression, humiliation, from sorrow that never died out, not for thousands of years.
Sounds like woke libtard bullshit to me, dog. This is a gacha game. Why are you putting politics in my gacha game? No politic here.
I neither need nor expect you to forget. I only hope that you could do as our ancestors did, and let those flames become your lamp. A lamp that first warms yourself, then illuminates the path for all of us, so that we could truly laugh, sing, and live in our homeland. A bright yet gentle light.
While the crowd is still mulling over her words, one of the residents suddenly cries out in pain. Why is the burn on my hands suddenly hurting? Because you motherfuckers put your hands in the purple flames and were like, yeah, look at me, I'm not a Victorian spy. I don't feel the purple flame, no.
Wait, the colors of all your lamps. Even my own changed colors. These are the lights of the red dragon. Dragon hopes that you will carry to warm yourselves. Purple fire belongs only to the dead, yet we unwittingly let our own flames be dyed by its color through overwhelming death and loss. But we mistook that fire for a blessing and allowed ourselves to be dragged towards the abyss. If the red dragon hadn't killed herself tonight, and we hadn't managed to return her flames, we could all have been dead by now, turned into walking corpses. To extinguish the flames of death in ourselves, you said that's why she killed herself.
The sense of guilt that crept up on Nemos after the purple flames vanished leaves her unable to reply. She only nods slightly. Then she feels a sudden chill on her face. It was a drop of water. Nemos lifts her head and looks to the distant night sky. More look up as the damp raindrops pelt their faces, gently washing their tears away. It is raining. On Samhain's Eve, the rain falls, heavier and heavier, but the crowd still remains in the square. They wish to thank the Red Dragon for returning their lives, for separating life from death. Terrible day for rain, or something. But the dragon tells everyone that she'll remain here until everyone returns home to rest. So the people gradually disperse, and eventually, even the wakemen and refugees bid goodbye to the dragon. They worry that for some of the dead, who have not returned their fire yet, will gather around the ruins, although that worry is unfounded.
By the time the sun rises, no longer will there be any wandering dead on Terran soil. Amid sobs, Nemos bids goodbye to the dragon as well. The next day, she will wake up early to collect bricks from all over the town to make a new door for Kalan's workshop. The huge square empties out, leaving only a red dragon, the nomad. Where are you off to next, Bridget? Not sure there's anywhere to go, really. All I've ever done is pass on messages or report oncoming catastrophes.
Well, there's a position at Rhodes Island, ready for you, a 5-star position.
I think they will replace my job, though. What are they called again? Catastrophe messengers? There've been less and less of us nomads anyhow, so I guess I'm glad someone will carry out the work at least. You should try contacting Rhodes Island. They love unemployed people. What's that? A pharmaceutical company. They're good people. You'll have to look for their headquarters. It's a land ship. I'll write them a letter tomorrow, and I was hoping you could deliver it for me. I think you'll like the place. But for tonight, you ought to rest inside the fort. We can't have you sleeping in a tent with all this rain. Let's head to the Citadel gates first.
The two of them slowly make their way towards the Citadel. The downpour continues and the fire on the sculpture is nearly extinguished. Only a faint flame of indistinct color flickers in the dragon's eye sockets. They suddenly hear a voice from behind.
Stubbornness and stupidity really are hereditary, I'm telling ya. How can someone forget their own bet?
Is there someone still in the square? It's that invisible brother of mine. He made a bet with me. Invisible? Don't turn around, Lashini. He's a wee bit awkward, that one. Not a fan of being seen, I'm sure.
Huh. Looking at the flickering flame in the dragon's eyes, La Breathak recalls a time centuries past, when Aelil was still a lad with a cracking voice while his own beard had just started to sprout. Mygrid, the Exquisite, was promoting everything Victorian in the royal capital, and ultimately even banned the favorite custom for Terran commoners, placing bets. That day, La Breathak had exploded in an argument with his mother with an unprecedented level of rage. Afterwards, his mother ordered him to fast and reflect, but Aelil sneaked into his brother's bedroom with a big piece of steak for him. The brothers blew out every light in the room and merrily gorged themselves, even licking their fingers clean. Enough stubbornness, soon everyone in the capital will be Victorian, Aelil said. La Breathak stroked the still soft beard and merely shook his head. He asked, "Then why not make a bet with me? Once mother's gone, not a soul will willingly continue pretending they're Victorian." "Fine," Aelil replied. The older brother burst into laughter. "What's on the table then? Would make a good wager. Why not the crown? You win, I'll never set foot in the palace for the rest of my life." "No, I'll wager anything but that." Aelil had refused. It was I who insisted on having it my way, half as a joke and half hungry for a gamble. I nearly put him in tears, didn't I? Yes, because Aelil was always the type to give in. He'd definitely agree. And so, in the end, he said, "Alright, if you go, then never come back." Afterwards, I ended up leaving the palace, wandering for years as Aelil spent that time unhappy in the capital. I heard that after losing half his men in the court, Aelil was controlled by not even Victorians, but Terran nobles speaking with Victorian accents. Big bro just abandoned little bro to the throne.
You lost, La Breathak. No matter how homesick you are, you've spent far too long on this family visit. Not to mention, you're just a pathetic shadow cast by firelight. Man, you have your own road to walk. No more breaking promises. Right. Just like that. Take out that purple fire from the stab wound on your chest. And now, return it to the dragon who walked the same path you did.
The exiled king's face twists from pain, but nevertheless he extends his arm bit by bit towards the eye of the skeleton. Is this how we're bringing her back to life? He's the one last person with her fire?
Let's see, Island. Is this your blades?
Can phantoms also feel pain? Can they shed tears of anguish? Or is it merely the rain dripping through him as his body fades to nothingness? He can no longer tell.
Or perhaps the flame of your good descendant here.
Okay, so these two were descendant from Ailo. So that makes him their great-great-granduncle. Yeah, pretty much Unk's a drama queen. Labrethak. Lashini snaps around, but there is no sign of anyone else in the square. Only the purple fire in the red dragon's eyes. It flares up for a split second, before the rain extinguishes it completely. Well, dang! I'm so sad that Eblana is dead now. She's so totally dead. Wow. Oh, she died for our sins. Anyway, EA-ST-3, back cover. A story repeated countless times is what becomes history. Gee, I wonder who the mysterious woman really is. Voice acting? Yo, Star, Hypergriff. What? You teased us with voice acting intermittently throughout this entire event? And you didn't have enough money from the 16 million revenue to voice act this last chapter? You gotta be kidding, dog. Small indie game company, by the way. Makes more than 50 million a year from Arknights alone. Can't afford intermittent voice acting consistently in an event.
Just before the mother engaged in the dark mist, the wakeman of the woods came to remind her that she has yet to do that which was most important, hold a proper funeral for her daughter. The mother had intended to fight the dark mist to death, but tears began to stream down her face when the wakemen sang their ancient song, and she chose to follow tradition and hold a wake for her daughter. All through the night she cried at the purple bonfire representing her daughter's soul. The downpour of tears quenched the fire burning through the city, nearly extinguishing even the purple funeral fire. When the wakeman once again asked the mother if she would still fight the dark mist to the death, she gazed upon the smoldering bonfire with tears on her face, saying, "I cannot abandon my kingdom's people." As she said those words, the feeble purple flame suddenly turned bright yellow. Her daughter rose from death and walked out of the flames, and mother and daughter embraced each other.
Gee, I wonder who that is.
So ends the story. Not in fragments, but a true ending.
Congratulations. We've pieced together the truth.
And what a happy ending. This is all thanks to you. Come, let us toast. Then I'll write this all down and publish it for... Well, publishing it may be a challenge, but now that it's complete...
The funeral, the bonfire, the resurrection. You saw everything.
I never expected you to find the courage to return to Nezeru, see? Singer.
Wait! The one other guy who survived the trip to the Dark Forest? The one who was found at the original ruins of the Citadel? You're Singer!
And it was a lovely ending, wasn't it? Eblana departed with the dead, never to return.
My man chased those cursed valuables into the dark woods, survived all the way to the ending to tell the tale. To at least publish a tale, at least. Meanwhile, rip all the other corrupt bozos. The corrupt bozo Dublin nobles. At least Singer made it out. Singer and Brigadier. Brigadier kinda disappeared in the middle of the story, though. But I'm pretty sure he's alive.
As for you, your highness Lashini, I dedicate this story to you. Whether to publish it, seal it away, or have it fade into obscurity along with the remnants of Dublin like me, is all up to you.
Wait. What? The Shinny? Isn't this Eblana? Okay. Right. They switch places. Did they switch places? They switch places.
How wonderful. I almost regret allowing you to belittle yourself with a title like the Singer.
You.
Oh, he thought she was... Oh. They were talking to each other under the precedent that she was Lashini. Nope, it's been Eblana all along. Brother, you were directly under her for like a couple of months. How could you not have recognized Eblana? Bro was seeing a ghost.
Wait, what? You're not Lashini. You're Eblana.
The one Singer swings his arm furiously, spilling his drink on the table.
You're dead. You can't be alive. You were killed. Twice. Once by spear and once by fire. You shouldn't be here.
Or am I dead? Wait, no, this is a Singer.
Or am I dead? This isn't funny. You're dead, Red Dragon. Go back to where you belong. I see. That's it. It was all a lie. You never died. You killed Lashini instead. It was all a trick, an illusion.
If so, what becomes of your story?
My story.
Have you calmed down?
You shouldn't be alive, no.
Has death ever been an eternal sleep for me? What could I do with life I can do in death? As a reward for completing the story, writer, let me tell you one thing. All that matters is fire.
The purple fire.
The purple fire from your story. It may seem ethereal, but it is no fiction. It is true that over the long course of the war, I shared too much of my flame with others and became weak, feeble. But fire spreads, fire consumes, fire grows. After the battle with the Nezeru on the Gastral, I needed to take back the flames I had given away, which had been growing on the plains and the ruins in the hearts of the people.
We wanted it repaid, with interest.
Taxation is the most basic authority of a monarch. Mundane kings collect blood taxes to nurture their armies, to fight over land and people that will last mere centuries at most. I collect blood taxes to pave a road between life and death with the red dragon's flame, so that all caught in between will look up to me.
The ravings of a madwoman.
No doubt it sounds that way to you, for you cannot fathom what happens when enough death to consume a nation's return to its master.
Is that her excuse? Is that her excuse? Returning her flames? Bro, she banked her flames across the land to be killed by Lashini It was all part of the plan, and then she gets brought back to life. All according to Keikaku.
1,000 years of anger, sorrow, and hatred converge at me all at once. Did you think they would let my flesh and spirit fade away so easily?
A slave to hatred. What a fitting end for you.
We called it. I called it yesterday. I actually called it 100%. Her own flames will bring back Eblana as an undead. That's how we broke the cycle, by actually killing her. I called it. They pulled a shoe on us. Hypergriff, you're fucking predictable, dog. You would never kill a playable character. I don't know whether that's something to celebrate or to be disappointed about. I don't know. She made herself undead. Yeah. We just saw it coming a mile away. There's no proof she actually died? The whole thing is an unreliable story told through these two bozos. An Eblana died for the Terran's sins and was brought back to life. She's alive now, that's all that matters. Whether she's undead or not, that's just semantics.
Have you already forgotten what I said in your story? Everyone and everything that thought they could mold me just happened to take on a form I was able to wield with ease. Were I truly their slave, you'd have been ash the moment I saw you.
You lunatic. That's why you allowed Wellington to station his troops in dark woods, to blockade the city, even continued the curfew. You never intended to spare Nezeru.
I thank you for finally willing to shed light on the unpleasant truth of the Dark Mist and Wellington.
Oh! Hold up. It was her all along.
Does the battle at Silver Rock Bluffs, which you witnessed from the deck of the Gastro, still haunts you in your alcohol-fueled dreams? It's never left you, has it? Why else would you be so obsessed with depicting the mist dangling above people's heads, yet so loath to define it? The curfew was justified at first. There were still Victorian spies in Nezeru at that time indeed.
Oh, so there were Victorian spies! Bro, this entire thing. Bro made up a lot. Dark Mist was Grandpa, but not exactly Grandpa. The Duke of Wellington stepped up the blockade when Lashini entered the city because he wanted to smother any possibility of news leaking about the two red dragons. Oh! The Dark Woods weren't mysterious whatsoever. It was literally the Duke of Wellington keeping up the blockade in the Dark Woods.
And the food that disappeared and came back on its own? The Brigadier was more than just your most trusted lieutenant. He was also captain of Wellington's Red Steel Guard. When he went to ask for supplies, Wellington acquiesced.
Wellington simply became disappointed in Lashini when she left Nezeru to seek the Wakeman, that's all. You should thank her, really. You'd never have escaped the woods if Wellington hadn't relaxed the blockade out of disappointment. As for the victory party you were so afraid to describe, don't tell me you've really glorified it to a fairy tale in your memories.
What? You mean those treasures didn't just come back to life and lead those bozos into the woods? Man. Singer. It was an interesting story, though.
Of course not. What happened to the Dubliners who weren't willing to give up their power? The ones you took away on a pretext?
They were swallowed by a dark mist, as you put it. Quite literally.
Oh, she did kill them. Potato. They're dead. Not through the Dark Woods, some other secret third way. It was a purging of the higher-ups under Eblana. to purge the corruption.
But Lashini still managed to make up her mind and killed you, and Wellington didn't follow your ridiculous orders.
So when Lashini was holding back the Dark Woods, it was Wellington's forces.
Suppose I believe that your aberrant purple fire left you a vessel. What do you plan to do with it? Lead an army of the dead to retake Tara? I won't help you. No living soul will. You and your dead friends can go straight to hell.
Indeed, you were never suited to be Dublin's singer. You cling to what you see and believe. When the two could no longer be reconciled, you chose self-destruction rather than to give up on either. But do you really imagine that everything has gone the way you think?
A letter, Your Grace.
You may enter.
Wait, no, Duke of Castor?
Is it urgent? No, ma'am.
You give me this one slice of a gilf as we end this chapter, Hypergriff? Are you trying to be a cock tease? Duke of Castor, my love, when will we see each other again? Probably when we get what's her face? Catgirl. The heir to the realm of Windermere. When we get her altar, when eventually she and Shearer get back to their lands to confront all the bozos that abandoned them, maybe we'll continue. Maybe we'll continue with the rest of the Dukes, but also we got some cosmic shit to take care of. Let's leave the the Victorian saga behind for now. But thank you for the little slice of gilf on our way out.
But look at the seal. It corresponds to no emblem on record from the past 50 years. Tara.
The Duke of Castor scrutinizes what the servant is holding. On the edge of the envelope is an emblem, excavated from the dust of history. The young have never seen it, while the old have forgotten it. Only those forced to keep an eye on history remember its source.
We're uncertain whether it is the mark of Tara or of King Gale. I never took you for a scholar of heraldry. That was not my intention. It is enough that we know that what it signifies. To the Duke of Castor. Open it and read it aloud. Not too quickly. Yes, ma'am. There is no greeting.
It's a blank piece of paper. It's just an announcement. Oh, your previous letter was received. The response was delayed as the time was not yet ripe. Now it is. From this day forth, martial law is hereby lifted in the Sour Sea and the surrounding lands south of Grey Hills.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! Martial law to be lifted at midnight across all of Tara. Publishing restrictions lifted. The art community rejoices. Read more on page 2.
This could have been Theo, dog. This news child could have been Theo.
Finally, now we could call this a proper tavern.
Here, here. With the curfew lifted, you could drink all through the night.
So the curfew was the Duke of Wellington and his men patrolling the city. Well, that's what the Dark Mist was. And the letter that they sent back to the Duke of Castor, it's from Wellington. Because he was the one that kept martial... Oh! The Dark Mist was a metaphor for martial law! I get it. Singer! Unreliable narrator ass.
Besides, it's my birthday. Drinks on the house. Oh, really? Are you sure about this? There are enough people in the city to drink you out of the house and home.
It was Grandpa. The different Grandpa. The war-hungry Giga Chad Grandpa.
Worry about yourself. Look at you, rich boy. Leaving your lamp on in the middle of the day. I was just so busy I forgot. It's been warm lately, so I've been renovating. Thought I'd take the day off. I have really been too busy. So how about another beer? I've got to get this fatigue out of my system. Here you go. On the other hand, I'm almost more afraid of not being tired. Being tired is how I know I'm still breathing. Nah, that's not quite it. How should I put this? Living. Yeah, living. You too, ma'am. Here's one for you.
Oh. We're finally here. I said it last time that we did liberate Tara from the Victorians. However, the Terrans weren't thriving. They weren't living. They still had deep-seated hatred burning within them, even post-war. And now, after the death and rebirth of the Red Draco, they're finally living. They're living for the future. Oh, it's Emma.
Oh, it's you, Emma.
I'm sorry, I've got to go. I've got to get going. She didn't kill herself, even though her husband died. She's living for the future.
Off to do your time on the egg plate.
Yes.
No idea how you managed to smuggle all that food out last year, but I hear you've been paying it off with honest work over there.
I forgot that Emma was the one who smuggled the food out for the noble bozos. A lot of shit happened. I forgot. Also, I was just reminded, Emma was the one who let Theo die. Hold up. Emma, you have a long life to make up for your sins. I just remembered, you let Theo die.
Thank you.
To living. To Tara.
To... Emma holds the cup with one hand and puts the other in her pocket, clutching the necklace she reclaimed last winter. The words said to her when it was returned came out of her mouth almost by instinct.
To all our countrymen who gave their lives for Tara. You're really leaving, Bridget?
Yeah, the bird and bees are calling for me from their pastures. Besides, still haven't been to this Rhodes Island that Lashini wanted me to see. Wanna come with?
Maybe if I have the chance. It's just sad to think that you're the one who brought us to Nezeru, but can't stay yourself.
It's not that I couldn't, I just chose not to. Like your own choice to stay. Say hi to the Wakemen for me, if they come back to the city.
Is that your intuition again?
It's not always right. But I don't smell that burning stink anymore. It smells like fresh buds in spring, dew in the morning. Brigadier, we were wondering where you were. You were the one... Well, I'm guessing Brigadier was the only noble bozo that wasn't that corrupt to deserve purging. You survived. And now, I guess you're probably the advisor to Reed, to Lashini. Hello, Brigadier. You two know each other.
You could say that. What are you doing here? I don't recall anything happening which the Red Seal Guard would need to be deployed for.
Alright, Brigadier was also the captain of Wellington's forces. Oh! Maybe he isn't the advisor. That's why he was... That's how he survived. Oh, right. It makes sense now. That's how he survived the trip to the Dark Woods. He was working for Brigadier most of all. Also, he wasn't that corrupt.
I'm on my leave. I came to honor the memory of my comrades. Scoundrels, to be sure, but they fought by my side. If you're looking to take revenge for those who died during your exile, this is your chance. Brawl with a soldier on leave wouldn't be considered an attack on the military.
It wasn't you who killed Selman and the others. Not directly. I'll remember what you did. That's enough for me.
I see. What more can anyone ask for than to be remembered?
Beltane, also known as the Festival of Fire, is scheduled to be revived in the coming days. The fire passing ritual will start in Oak Grove County. Oh my god. Oh my god. They're reusing the background from County Hillock. One of the first locations where we started the Victorian saga off. This really is the end of the Victorian saga. We're back full circle. They're reusing County Hillock's background.
You're awfully quiet. Are you nervous? No, it just strikes me that we managed to turn what you'd see in the books into reality. On the last day of spring, we extinguish the fires in our homes, then come together to relight them at Beltane, in the smoke of the bonfire and drifting ash. We welcome the coming of a new season and a new life.
Your Highness Lashini! The lighting ceremony will begin in a few minutes.
Alright, thank you. Maybe I've waited for too long for this. It feels no realer than a dream. I wanted to sing Nemos, but you've already sung for me back in the Sour Sea, so this time, the flames in my hand will do the singing. One more thing, Your Highness. About Her Highness Eblana.
Your Highness, it's time!
Oh, sorry, Nemos. We can speak after the ritual.
Does Nemos have an inkling that Eblana might not be dead? Draco steps forward. A stone platform, sculpted in the style of the ruins, serves as her lectern. She lights the bonfire upon it, and turns around. From the square below her, many faces gaze up with bated breath. She takes a deep breath. 1,000 years ago, the Dracos of Victoria invaded Tara, creating the title of King Gale as an epithet of shame, robbing the nomadic Terrans of their freedom. 600 years ago, the reigning King Gale had no choice but to allow the Victorians to remake the royal capital in their image. 200 years ago, the Aslands seized the crown of Victoria, but once again they trampled the dreams of the Terrans beneath their feet. Such that even our language was almost lost to us. Now Tara stands on her own. I recite this history of shame, not to fan the flames of hatred, but in defense of peace. Sing what songs in Victorian suffice to praise the beauty you see. Tell what tales in Terran will move the passions. We remember so we might provide the living with the dignity of life, and the dead the promise of reunion. Throughout the cold night, we shall retain a warm flame. As such, I, Lashini Dublin, the last descendant of the Terran Dracos, I shall light this fire symbolizing new life. May it guide the way for all, whether living or departed. Enclosed you will find templates for nomadic city immigration forms. Signed, the Kingdom of Tara. Immigration forms? They're sending them out to the other lands of the nobles so that they could take in the Terrans. The Terrans that have been left behind.
This is treason! The King of Tara has long been one of the titles of the Victorian Emperor. Nothing in the letter denies it. To avoid conflict, the Red Dragon has even indefinitely delayed the coronation so many are looking forward to. But in reality, the indecisive claimant, the corrupt oligarchs, the blockading army, the flames of dissent, all these issues have been put to rest. For the first time in centuries, they proudly tell a new legend of a King Gale. In the short term, the unrest has indeed been contained within Wellington's domain, With time, however, can become a greater threat than any insurrection. Tara must not be allowed to secede from Victoria. As long as Wellington doesn't take his entire territory away on a nomadic city, the other dukes and I will continue negotiating with them.
Well, we can't end this on a fully happy ending. There's gotta be some politics going on.
Yes, ma'am. I'll draft some long-term plans regarding that.
If it's an excuse to bring the Gilfs back, I'm all for it. Bring back the Gilfs, both Wellington and Gaster.
Phew, it's finally over. Well done indeed. Thank you. So, what was it you wanted to say about Eblana before the ceremony? We never found her body. If she somehow survived, I worry that someday...
Don't worry. We'll keep a close eye on her on Rhodes Island. Apparently.
Someday a completely different story will be told about the resurrection of the Red Dragon. What story? That it was no miracle but the assassination of one dragon by another? Worse than that. I see. You're afraid that Eblana will return and paint the whole thing as conspiracy I orchestrated? Our position is not unassailable. We both know that her body disappeared earlier that night after you killed her the first time. What I dragged through the streets wasn't her body but an empty coffin.
Oh, she never died. Bro. It was that far back? It was that far back. Okay, got it. I see. She never fully died, and I think Reed never actually killed her. She's not undead.
I know. I also know that it was I who used the last spark of fire she left in her spear to ignite the coffin.
The body left... Okay, this whole story was told under the unreliable narrators of both Eblana and the singer. So, whatever is going on, I really, it doesn't matter the semantics of how she lived, how she died, whether she's undead or not. She's alive. That's all that matters. Whatever, dog.
It was I who left the city to parley with Wellington, laying out our plans in exchange for him delaying military action while they played out.
Yep, we figured that out. It was just a prank, bro. Just faking my death. Just faking my death to become the new Jesus.
It was I who walked into the fire the people had returned to Eblana. I who quenched and replaced the fire of death with the fire of life. I who walked out of the fire in the end.
Oh, wait. Oh, it was established. This wasn't out of nowhere. Early in the story, we established that Reed could quench the fire when she tried it on Emma, except people were unwilling to give up Eblana's blessing willingly because they still had fear and hatred in their hearts. Eblana's fire gave them comfort. So the fire returning ceremony was a way for them to give it up willingly so that Reed could quench it. Oh. Got it. Okay, everything's in place now. The whole picture is transparent.
We've known all this since the day on the balcony of Nezeru's citadel. Eblana had left us a puzzle with no solution. The only way out was a miracle. A miracle we scripted and directed. If anything, the true miracle was the Wakeman returning to the city.
That was Bridget.
If Eblana hadn't awakened the exiled king, if Bridget hadn't delivered that message centuries overdue, if Morin hadn't persuaded them...
Yeah, a lot of things also fell into place too neatly. It wasn't a master plan, it was still kismet. It was still kind of fate that everything lined up. There were too many moving pieces that Eblana could not control.
With just the two of us, that miracle could never have happened. So what is there to fear at this point? Eblana has cut off any path leading away from the throne. All I can do is devote the rest of my days to Tara, and patiently await my judgment in some unknowable future.
However, if they publish this story,
Nemo's was dragging an empty coffin? Lashini was planning to resurrect the dragon the moment she first killed you. You're lying, you... I know, it was Wellington. He found a conscience and lifted the blockade on his own.
You just won't give up, will you? The Iron Duke, with a conscience? Hilarious.
You promised him that only good could come from your scheming.
All I promised him on the Gastral was that I could change the direction of Tara, so long as Lashini was willing to return. The red dragon who breathes flames of death, the Spectre Force with its dead soldiers, Dublin with its blood-stained hands. Everything was fated to sink into darkness while Terrans united under the banner of the one and only Red Dragon. Of course, His Grace was unaware that everyone in Nezeru was meant to die for the plan, but I knew. A city of doomed souls in exchange for Tara's lasting stability. Only good could come of it, no? A shame that the Duke isn't fond of Lashini. Things could have gone even more smoothly otherwise.
Sophistry. You lied to Wellington. Your plan was anything but harmless, and the people of Nezeru did live.
To everyone's surprise.
bro, she was betting it all on Lashini coming back and saving the Terrans. Otherwise, everyone would have died. Betting it all on everything falling into place.
In exchange for their lives, Lashini reached for the scepter of power that she detested so much. She chose to write a saga, a novel, a miracle that should have been beneath her noble dignity. It was something only she could do, something that wouldn't have been possible even a few years ago. Would you have placed the miracle on the scales from the start?
What if Lashini had failed?
Then you wouldn't be sitting here enjoying your drink. I'm sure you've heard stories about what the Iron Duke does to whatever he considers an obstacle.
Every story begins with an inspiration. Memories rush into the writer's mind like seawater at high tide. He struggles to break free, only to find himself powerless against the oncoming tide.
Red Dragon! You knew from the beginning. You almost destroyed Nezeru. You've made a mockery of all Tara.
Now, I must object to that. I simply fulfilled a promise. Is being true to one's word no longer a virtue? Even you yourself admitted that this was a happy ending.
No, never. This isn't how the story ends. This isn't how my story's supposed to go.
The rider sees a sliver of white. He falls to his knees and crawls along the ground, trying to collect the scattered sheets of paper that had flown loose. 1, 2, 3. He clutches them in his hand along with his pen.
No!
What would you like to write? Let me help you.
No!
The rider's shoulders tremble hysterically. Panicked, he begins to back off until his back hits the rickety wall of the tavern. Grabbing his pen like a spear, he begins to stab at the paper. Muttering under his breath, he only manages to cover them with scattered ink blots. Soon, even his muttering loses coherence. The commotion causes the drunken barkeep to come out from behind the counter and grab him by the collar. "What you blabbing about?" Realizing that he could no longer form words, the rider desperately looks towards the woman watching him with disinterest. That should have been me! That should have been me! Getting looked at with disdain. He points at the woman's hands, then at his own mouth. Meaning was clear.
You've lost your words. Perhaps you hit your head from excitement, or had a minor stroke. Or perhaps it's because you just saw something you believed in so firmly for so long shattered to pieces. The very thing that inspired you to join Dublin, caused you to stay at the victory party, made you stay back at Nezeru halfway. But it's time to wake up.
With a trembling hand, the writer tries to write on his palm but leaves only crooked, disjointed lines.
You wrote a story for Tara? A complete story, not a collection of fragments. It's a good one. I like it. And I like it even more now that it belongs only to me, not to you. Salan go foili. Foil. Singer? No. Writer. The Last Dubliner. I look forward to the stories you'll tell me when death reunites us.
My bro got mind broken. Well, I don't think the story is ever gonna come out, considering Singer kinda lost his mind. The secret's gonna go to their graves. Eblana, officially unemployed. No one needs to know the truth of the whole thing. With one last glance at the writer, the woman tosses a few coins onto the table, walks out of the tavern. A memory comes back to the writer. It was the same look Eblana gave him that night, a year and a half ago, when he decided to delay his report after the leader's shadow had already departed, in hopes of staying in both sides' good graces. Are we gonna find out? Hold up. What should I call you then?
Whatever you're thinking, I'm only Necres here. Unless you too find a signed sheet of paper to hold no power whatsoever. Operator Necres. If you find the title unnecessary, erudite. For my part, I'm more curious about your lack of reaction upon hearing the whole story.
I've already heard the story.
Lapse on my part, I see. First a private letter from Nezeru, then fragments through official channels. Lashini's getting better at this. Then I presume she's told you all about me, which is why you're willing to sit down with me by yourself and hear out this patchwork tale of allusions and insinuations.
No, she's yet to find your body. She doesn't know that she's at Rhodes Island.
That makes your courage all the more admirable. And I mustn't neglect to give credit to Lashini where it's due. She's more than just a qualified dance partner now. She's ready to take the lead. I do hope she enjoys herself.
Sounds like you like your new powers.
Of course I do. The powers of the dead aren't necessarily greater than those of the living, but they are more lasting and harder to check.
But you'll soon grow bored of them, like everything else you've had. Followers, martyrs, dominion, status.
Life is short, but death is long, erudite. There are still so many interesting people in the mortal realm. That alone is reason enough for me to await them in death.
So you gave Reed your old toys?
A cutting question, erudite, but I'll allow it. Not only because your accusation is astute, if prejudiced, but also because you are one of the interesting people I mentioned.
What makes me interesting?
I am inseparable from death. Is it not the natural order of things that those like me should be drawn to Rhodes Island? I was drawn, so I came. This place is always covered in the scent of death. After all, especially around you, my dear erudite.
I don't understand.
You will someday. When the tides erupt and the night of death descends, you'll be grateful for my presence, so long as I do not mock your predicament. As for right now, I'm simply a shadow of Tara's leader. Just Necres, nothing more.
And that's how we find out how she gets employed onto Rhodes Island. Because we gotta make 16 million in revenue, boys! Another more $1 billion to Hypergriff! Okay. Finally, we've ended after 3 years. We've ended the entire Victorian saga. All loose ends have been wrapped up. And now we could move forward to whatever cosmic, demonic, spatial bullshit we have ready for us in year 6. I can see rhombuses in my nightmares, dog. Anyway, that'll be that for today's reading of When Elegies Are Ashes. We will be back again on Saturday to grief the queues as we play Icebreaker Games #1. I swear I'm not grieving. I swear I'm helping. Until then, my name is Nez and thanks for watching. Thank you to everyone that stopped by, chilled out, and chat, used as a second monitor content, and watched us read and react through When Elegies Are Ashes. I will see you friendos this weekend for Icebreaker Games. Bye-bye.